Championship Sunday is in the books, and we now know the Bucs will play the Chiefs in Super Bowl 55. Tampa beat Green Bay with a score of 31-26 on Sunday afternoon, and the Chiefs beat the Bills with a score of 38-24 in the night game. In today's video, we're going to discuss the game recaps and ultimately what each team can do going forward, meaning the Packers' future and the Bills' future, and how soon they can get back to Championship Sunday, and ultimately if or when they can get to the Super Bowl. But before we get started, please like the video and subscribe to the channel, as each only take a second to do, and it would be very much appreciated. We recently had 17,000 subscribers, and I cannot thank you guys enough for the support. Now let's begin. And we begin today's video by discussing the Packers and Bucs game. This was obviously the better of the two games Sunday, and the NFL finally got its wish of Aaron versus Tom in the playoffs, and it did not disappoint. Now, there was a point in the third quarter where the Bucs were up 28-10, and it looked like they were going to blow the game open like they did back in Week 6, when the Bucs beat them 38-10. Ultimately, the Packers made it a game, and then as we know, we're down 31-23 with 2 minutes to play, and decided to kick a field goal. This was an interesting decision because they still had to get a touchdown no matter what, and at that point in time, nobody knew if they were going to get the ball back, which they did not. Now, as you'll see on the screen is a screenshot from where Aaron Rodgers had the ball, and we're going to discuss this in depth here because it led to them kicking a field goal and not going for it on 4th down late in the game. So obviously this points to the end zone, and screenshots like this do not tell everything, let's be clear, but there is a clear path there. Had Rodgers went for it, he's not scoring, as you can see JPP behind him and Ndamukong Suh not far to the right of him. And had he ran for it, the corners and linebackers that are covering Allen Lazard on the goal line here would obviously move off of him and at minimum prevent Rodgers from scoring. But you would have to think Aaron would have gotten to at least the 4 or 5 yard line if he took this and run and got something out of it rather than an incomplete pass and a field goal attempt on 4th down. If Rodgers gets to the 2, the 3, or the 4 yard line, they can run one of their signature plays to Davante Adams where he motions across the field only to come back sprinting across in another motion, and Rodgers quick strikes for a touchdown. They have done this time and time again, and it is nearly impossible to defend. Now we sit here on Monday and know they did not do this, and when they gave the ball to Tom Brady, not surprisingly, Green Bay did not get the ball back. This is a tough loss for the Packers, given everything that happened and given that Aaron Rodgers did outplay Tom Brady. Now, I'm going to be open and honest when I say this. I didn't agree with the decision to kick the field goal late in the game. I like what LaFleur has done, and under him being the head coach of the Packers in 2 years, they have went to back-to-back NFC Championship games and have back-to-back 13-win seasons, meaning they are 26-6 under him as the head coach of the Green Bay Packers. But when you have an MVP quarterback in Aaron Rodgers who just threw 48 touchdowns in one season and choose to take the ball out of his hands with the game on the line and really the season on the line, well, that probably isn't sitting too well with Aaron at this moment in time, and you really can't blame him. We have seen so many times over the years teams try and beat Brady by using this strategy or that strategy, and at the end, Brady gets the last laugh, which he did again on Sunday. But this wasn't a great game by Tom by any stretch of the imagination, as he completed just over 50% of his passes and threw 3 interceptions in the process. So yes, Tom is going to a record 10th Super Bowl, and good for him I'll add, but it's not like he was a fantastic player on Sunday and that he turned the clock back several years and was a man amongst boys on the field, because that really was not the case. Tom's interception to Adrian Amos specifically was a very poor decision, as it was tossed in double coverage, and it was at a point in time where the Bucs could have iced the game away. But ultimately, the Bucs did win and will face off against the Chiefs in the first ever home Super Bowl. This game is going to be hyped up in ways we haven't seen before due to the two quarterbacks that are going to be playing in the game. We will get to that preview later in the video, but before we do that, we are going to discuss the Packers' future outlook moving forward. So after the game last night, Aaron Rodgers had a rather interesting press conference, as he said there are a lot of unknowns going into this offseason, and I'm going to have to take some time to step back and clear my head with what's going on with everything. So now we bring forward the completely plausible question after hearing this. Will Aaron Rodgers be a Packer in 2021 and beyond? Obviously, Packers fans want to say yes, of course, he's our guy, he's our franchise, but at the same time, the question has to be asked, will he be a Packer at the start of next year? And to be fair to Packers fans and really anyone that would have a chance to trade for Rodgers, That interview was after a hard-fought loss when he was certainly at his most vulnerable time to be interviewed. So could he take some time off to think about his next step? Yes, absolutely he could, but at the same time don't expect him to come to a conclusion that he will demand a trade based on an interview after a season where he played at an MVP level that ended in a home loss before they could get to a Super Bowl. Rodgers had all kinds of emotions going through at the time, I'm sure, and I just want to say do not think or come to an overreaction that he will not be a Packer next year because of that. But what needs to be said is Aaron Rodgers, no matter what, has to be a little, and this is putting it kindly, but frustrated with the Packers organization. The selection of Jordan Love being his heir apparent, the decision by Matt LaFleur last night to not put the ball in his MVP quarterback's hands with the game on the line, and now another tough postseason loss for the Packers, and for Aaron to fall to 1-4 lifetime in conference championship games. So now we move on to the AFC Championship game, which of course was the Bills and Chiefs. So when discussing this, we have to think about a few things. The term never bet against Brady has been used for quite some time now, as people don't like to bet against Tom because somehow, some way, he usually finds a way to win. I think the term don't bet against Mahomes either is 100% on its way to becoming that, as Patrick has started for 3 full years now, and really 2.5 the year they won the Super Bowl, but anyway, has appeared in the AFC Championship game in all of those years. The hype surrounding him is very real, and nearly everyone fell into the hype of Bills Mafia, myself included, and the thought of Josh Allen being the next one up and getting a ring just like Pat did last year was very plausible. But the Chiefs yet again came out on top, and for a lot of this game it really wasn't close. And for as much credit as the Chiefs offense gets, and rightfully so I'll add, the Chiefs defense steps up when they need them to. Of course there's exceptions like there is with everything, but yesterday, Sunday, the Chiefs held the Bills until there were 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter to 15 points, and remember, 6 of those 15 were spotted from a McCole Hardman muffed punt. So after the Chiefs were down 9-0 early in the first quarter, they went on a 38-6 scoring run, which more than sent the Bills out of the game. And while Stephon Diggs did make a few good plays down the stretch, he was limited for a lot of the game. This was a great game plan strategy by the Chiefs. This was a game where the favorite did win, but there is still a lot to look forward to if you're a Bills fan moving forward. The Mafia has been waiting for quite some time, and they clearly have their guy in Josh Allen, and in only year one, him and Stephon Diggs tore the league apart together, and both guys are under 30 years old. Really, the only unfortunate thing for them is Patrick Mahomes is just 25, and there's going to be nothing to slow him down in the next few years, so the Bills, and really everyone else in the AFC, might as well get comfortable or as comfortable as they can with facing him, because they will have to go through the Chiefs in order to get to the Super Bowl. Now, I don't want to overreact when I say this, but I do want to at least mention this. We're always talking about there may never be another New England with 6 and 20 years, but right now, who's to say Kansas City can't go back-to-back? Mahomes now at 25 years old has done significantly more than what Brady did in the early 2000s for the Patriots, and you can argue the Chiefs should be going for 3 Super Bowls in a row. With Patrick and the Chiefs, it is extremely easy to overreact, because if you think about sports, there has been no one ever to do what he's doing right now. Peyton's first year, the Colts were terrible, and he threw 28 interceptions, leading the league in the process. Tom didn't start his first year, and it doesn't correlate to just football either. The Bulls barely made the playoffs when Michael Jordan was a rookie, and the Cavs did not make the playoffs when LeBron was a rookie. Now, I'm not going into the MJ-LeBron debate, but what I am trying to get across is nobody has done what Patrick has done in his first few years of the NFL. Yes, Tom won a ring, but he was not the MVP of the league in the process. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is really the only close one, as he won an MVP in his second year and a Finals MVP, but didn't win another ring for nearly a decade. Pat and the Chiefs had the opportunity to do so and set an unprecedented pace for the next decade and ultimately the duration of Patrick's 10-year contract. But moving on to the Super Bowl preview, and this is exactly what the NFL has wanted since Tom announced he was signing as a member of the Bucs, and that's really all there is to it. The NFL couldn't have been happier to have the heir to Tom's throne play the GOAT himself in the big game on Tom's field with everything on the line. These guys are 2-2 against each other, Pat and Tom to be clear, lifetime, and if Tom wins number 7 against the up-and-coming, who knows if he'll ride off into the sunset, but it would solidify him being the GOAT even more than it already is. And if Pat and the Chiefs win, then the hype and the media surrounding the Chiefs will be nothing like we've seen before. This would be the greatest start to a career a player has ever had if the Chiefs win and Patrick plays well. 2 Super Bowl rings, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, and a regular season MVP before the age of 26 and 3 full seasons as a starter would be unheard of. And I really hope Super Bowl 55 lives up to the hype of Mahomes and Brady, because this is the best quarterback versus quarterback matchup in the history of the Super Bowl era. It truly cannot be scripted any better for Tom to win and walk off. The GOAT versus the next generation. And I truly cannot wait to see how it plays out. And with that being said, that's all I have for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did and are still watching, please like the video and subscribe to the channel, as I would very much appreciate that. I cannot tell you guys how much I appreciate the support. Now, I will see you guys next time. Have a great day. Love you guys. Deuces. Peace.